I love that. Cut off a little. That is the most popular political TikTok yesterday on from anybody. Inspiring little piece from Kamala Harris and her campaign. I am Fred Wellman, host of Online with VoteVets. Welcome to our Election Day midday special. We'll do it again tonight. But we want to hop on midday, say hello, give you an update, talk about what VoteVets has been up to. If you follow us, you're fans. We got a lot of folks who join us for these shows last month, especially. And we're going to bring the whole team in, or well, just a chunk of the team in to come talk about what's happening and what's going on. And you know what? We're not going to mention that guy very much, okay? Because you know why? This is about turnout day. Today is Election Day. Many of us have been in this fight for a couple of years now, getting ready for this day. I know VoteVets has in a big way. And now it's up to you. It's up to the American people to get out and vote. And, you know, don't just discount the early vote numbers. Doesn't matter what's gone before. Today is Election Day, and today is the day to show up. And what I'm hearing is most of the places are pretty easy to get in. But then there's places like Lehigh University in Pennsylvania. Look at this video I caught from my friend Santiago. This is the speed it up. But that folks is students at Lehigh University. Okay, it's fast, but in 9 seconds, that's 3 blocks to vote at Lehigh University. And I'm seeing videos from my friend Santiago Mayer of voters of tomorrow across the country where college students are getting out to vote. We're seeing it across the country, people getting out to vote. So this is the day we've all waited for, and it's up to us. It's in our hands now to win this election for our candidate of choice. You know where we stand on this at VoteVets. We feel very strongly. We've seen an incredible campaign from Kamala Harris. I mean, just think about what they accomplished since July, you guys, okay? The changeover we thought couldn't happen. I was one of the guys that said there's no way we could pull it off. And in just 4 or 5 months, they pulled together a textbook campaign. They brought in Tim Walz. They've put all together pieces, just motivated people in ways you couldn't imagine. I don't know if you saw it last night in Philadelphia. An incredible turnout in Philadelphia. Thousands of people deep into the night. Vice President Harris spoke to almost midnight on the East Coast about what she aspires to, what she plans to do as president, and how we are all part of it. So really kind of a cool place. We were just there with my friend Mike Levine and Rick Hegdahl about a month ago, of course, the VoteVets Not a Sucker Loser tour. So it was kind of cool to see it on TV. But we wanted to get with you and talk to you. So, you know, what has VoteVets been up to? Well, we've been busy, and VoteVets does have an impact. We don't really talk about us a lot. We talk about, we talk a lot about our candidates, we talk about our work, but I kind of want to show you a little bit of the numbers. When people ask me, what does VoteVets represent and what do we do? Well, we've actually got some numbers today. We've got some numbers we could talk about, and then throw those up. JJ's our producer. You're going to meet him eventually, by the way. He does exist. JJ runs this thing, but that's what over 688,000 veterans and military families are part of our community online. In addition, we have thousands more, 1.6 million veterans, military families who follow veterans issues through our various publications and emails and participate in our things. But here's a really big number. This is the astounding number of people who follow veterans issues and work in the Veterans Affairs world, in our database, in our outreach, in our action database. I mean, that's an astounding number. 2 million people. So when VoteVets says to you, we represent 2 million people, we talk to 2 million people in the veterans world. That's what we mean. We don't just make these numbers up like some folks. We've actually got numbers to back them. So let's get on with the show. Let's bring in my friend Sarah, my friend Mike Levine, who's literally I've known forever. It seems like Mike, of course, retired Sergeant Major United States Army. He's a senior advisor to VoteVets. And Sarah Wood. Look, if you guys don't know Sarah Wood, Sarah is when you see a tweet, a post, a Facebook, a graphic, oh my God, just about anything, Sarah's got her hands behind that. So welcome to Online VoteVets, Sarah and Mike. I think you're muted right now. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys on. Say hi to everybody. Sarah, there you go. Mike unmute. Although maybe Mike muted is better. I mean, it's probably see, this is the
people would not disagree with that.
And there he is. He's welcome. Well, guys, glad to have you here to discuss the big day. How you guys feeling, Mike? How you feeling today, brother?
Hey, I'm stealing this phrase from Twitter, but I am nauseously optimistic. I am just
stole my line.
Got it.
Oh man, what the hell?
Hey, our outfits were coordinated. Maybe our phrases were too. No, listen. I'm ready to go into tonight. Ready to raise a glass to all the hard work that these campaigns have put in, these amazing candidates have put in. And you know, I don't know if by the time we call it quits for the night that we're going to know everything from our congressman up to the president. But man, I'm hoping. it would be great to have a winner declared tonight. It probably won't happen, but I'm waiting to hear her name. I'm waiting to run through here Pennsylvania go for here North Carolina, here Wisconsin, here all of these battleground states go to her and be able to just slap the table tonight and say 2025 is going to start with the first female president of the United States.
Wow. Sarah, how you feeling?
Also nauseously optimistic. I feel like, the energy is there. I'm feeling good. We could know early if the East Coast breaks for her early. So we just don't know. We really just don't know.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I feel great. I know that's crazy to say that. I know it goes against the grain. We're supposed to be all worried and stuff, but I've been looking at the numbers. I don't know if you saw my other show. Oh, hey, there's Rick Hegdahl. Hi, Rick. You look at the fundamentals of this campaign, and look, we'll talk a little bit about VoteVets impact, especially Sarah. I know you got some actual real numbers, but we've been doing the work. Our organization is doing the work. A lot of organizations doing the work. People I've been a part of, from Midas Touch to a Lincoln Project, but just a first-class campaign. I mean, the campaign we've watched unfold has been remarkable, and the fundamentals are there. You guys felt the vibe, right? How about that vibe for the last week, Sarah? You've watched. I know you're like me. You watch a lot of these rallies. What do you feel about that vibe right now? It's pretty kind of cool on Kamala's side, isn't it?
It was insane. I stayed up all the way through last night, and just the energy, you can feel it through the screen. I was around, obviously, I've been around a long time, but I was around for Obama, and it feels even bigger than that. It feels bigger than that.
Yeah, Mike. And Mike on the other side, it's been kind of puttering across the finish line, hasn't it?
Well, it just listening to, and I do this partly to punish myself, but also for a laugh every now and again. I will sit there and watch the live streams of Trump rallies, and it's the same grievances. It's the same. Pissing and moaning about 2020. It's just like it's just the same shit, different day, and I don't know how people will line up to listen to that. When there is so much optimism, there's so much joy, there's so much excitement that goes on the other side. But as far as like puttering over the finish line, he gave his closing arguments last night as well, and again, there's just nothing new under the sun for Donald Trump. It's the same stuff over and over. And I don't know. I'm really hoping for the day where we don't have to hear his sound bites anymore.
I'm giddy with excitement, but look, that we talk about that. That's momentum, right? That the closing message was a real closing message of Vice President Harris hammering him over and over, Governor Walz hammering him over and over. This is what we stand for. This is who we stand for. These are our priorities. They had a series of rallies the last few days focusing on democracy, focusing on women's health care, bringing out even a different celebrity each time, which I'm a fan of. I don't care what they say. But she repeated her talking points every time. It was kind of funny because the Republicans tried to drag her for that. And I'm laughing as a political professional, like, yeah, that's called, Sarah, I know you are too. It's like, no, repeating your message is how you do it, actually. Because
message discipline is kind of one of those things you look for. Yeah. Like,
it's a thing. Yeah, exactly. And so the idea the Republicans were giving her crap about that was hilarious, because that is exactly why it's filtered through. And I saw an interview with a voter today who was a former Republican, former Trump voter. He says, I believe in her. I believe she's saying what she says. I've heard her. I saw her at the debate. That discipline and doing it incredibly professionally for just this 5 months and putting together a campaign of joy and breaking through the skepticism of our world is kind of remarkable, man.
Wait, how many months?
It's been 5, has it? Right? I don't know. I'm not smart. August, September, October, November. 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah, more like 3 months and 3 months and change.
Yeah,
right? So,
I know.
So when you think about every other presidential cycle has had, and of course it gets longer and longer every year, but you figure 18 to 24 months. That's really when people start to 18 to 24 months out. That's when people really start to get in and declare at this point. Well, closer to 18, but again, it's getting longer. But that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long to introduce yourself to the country, to spread your message and socialize the policies that you want to bring, that's going to lift the country up and move the country forward. And she had a little bit more than triple digit days.
Yeah.
Like look at where we are and look at what this campaign has been able to accomplish in that very short period of time. It's breathtaking. It really is.
It really is. No, I mean, there's no way to put it. I mean, I think people are going to write books about this campaign. I really do. I think people are going to write books someday about this textbook campaign who came in and in 4 months turned around the skepticism, changed the entire direction of the campaign they were on, added a whole new layers. I mean, I love, and so we'll turn to VoteVets next. But one of the things I loved is something we saw at the DNC. And if you looked last night, you saw the signs behind Vice President Harris said freedom. They said USA. I love the fact that on day one, she came and said, no, we're taking patriotism back. At the DNC, I was in the crowd at the DNC. I was one of the very, very fortunate, which I still can't believe 4 months later, I was one of the fortunate people that got to go to the DNC as a creator and stand in the crowd there that day. I was actually on the floor the night Governor Walz took the nomination for VP, which was really cool. And I can't believe I didn't lose my voice. Thank God I didn't. But I mean, flags and patriotism in our party, because our party, the Democratic Party, does represent that. And I think that's been a big part of what I've seen, the success I've seen. Is it look, they don't own that. We're putting our American flags out today because that's our flag, and that's what this election's about. And circling back, so we've been a part of that, right? Sarah, we want to have you on because you've been here the longest. You've been how long have you been with VoteVets, Sarah? Just tell us. Give it up. How long have you been with VoteVets?
About 4.5 years.
4.5 years.
Yeah.
There you go. So that for those of you who don't know Sarah, you should. She's the magic behind the screen. What's our impact? I mean, you actually put up some character like the stuff you do and what VoteVets does and what your job is through that. I'd love our viewers to know just what it is you do to put this fight. JJ, why don't you bring it up? There you go. JJ's on it.
Yeah, no, we're here our number one thing is lifting the voices of veterans, making sure what veterans are heard, the veteran perspective is heard. So we advocate around the issues that veterans care about and let people know that we are committed to protecting democracy. No ifs, ands, or buts. Yeah. And then what we also do is really counter disinformation and misinformation, because there's a lot of it out there. It's even happening today at the polling place. There's Russian bomb threats I heard or something like that in Georgia. Yeah. So it's just about combating all of that, combating Project 2025 and raising those issues as well, like making sure people are informed about the military issues and the veterans issues and the national security issues that are all behind that, because a lot of people were aware of a lot of the reproductive rights and a lot of the other stuff, but that military piece was something that wasn't talked about as much. And it's incredibly critical because it's entirely frightening.
Yeah, I mean, I believe they said, I already saw a notice from the FBI and the intelligence agency saying that there are fake FBI warnings going out saying that people should vote absentee now, even because it's too dangerous to go to the polls. So we're going to have to fight that all day long, I bet.
That's terrible. They want to stop people's vote, which it's very Trumpian of them. So, but
tell us about the surge.
Since Kamala came around, even since early September, we've had over 50 million impressions on our stuff across platforms.
Holy cow.
It's people are ready. They're ready for this change. It's remarkable. Wow. We can even look at video views, and it's over 20 million, almost 21 million video views just in September. This isn't even counting going back further in the summer.
And selfishly, I would like to say that our Not Suckers and Losers tour accounted for at least 2 million of those. So I'm fired up about that.
100%.
And on the line with VoteVets, this fine show.
No, it's true. It's absolutely true. And so like I said before, we're obviously trying to reach out, and you'll see us put a lot of selfie videos up from veterans, because there's no greater messenger than coming from veterans themselves. We can try to disseminate information and do all that, but when it's coming directly from the veterans who have served and who love this country so much and don't want to see it fall back into the hands of Donald Trump, that stuff we really love to amplify, and I honestly can't get enough of it. It's amazing.
It's one of my favorite things. We always, and that's our friend Rick Hegdahl is not with us tonight, but I think he's in the chat. Rick's a master. For folks who don't know, Rick will say, or Sarah will get an idea. One of our leaders here at VoteVets say, we need votes. We need an opinion of a veteran, like Puerto Rican. Let's say we just had the garbage, the disgusting comments from the hate rally in New York. And that day we said, hey, we should get the perspective of our Puerto Rican veterans. Rick goes into action, and within a couple hours, you've got videos, don't you, Sarah?
Oh, within hours, literally hours, sometimes minutes. It's remarkable. Yeah. So, and then we obviously support candidates who respect service. Obviously, everyone we've endorsed, including Kamala Harris, who respects those who serve, and Tim Walz, obviously, because he's a veteran himself. Unlike Donald Trump, who really doesn't give. I'm trying not to curse. Really doesn't care about.
I think we're allowed.
I think you're trying to say he doesn't give a
We're
rat's
allowed on this
ass,
show.
right?
It's all
Yeah.
veterans. Yeah,
Yeah,
doesn't give a shit about us.
That's even a
Yeah.
nicer way of saying it than I would have said. So, yeah. So that's one of our other we really need to have someone in office that is if they're going to put someone into harm's way, that they actually give a shit about them.
And they feel it, right? It's one of the things I've said. I used to say when I was doing veterans previously for the Lincoln Project was, Joe Biden is the first president we've had since Eisenhower, who's a Blue Star dad, who sent a child into combat. I would like at least a president. And while Vice President Harris is not, obviously Governor Walz is a National Guard NCO. We need to raise those voices up and understand who they are.
Absolutely.
More. There you go.
Oh yeah, rapid response. That's my bread and butter. I love it because we're living in the moment of especially with this news cycle, there's always something. And to combat the disinformation in real time and to get out our voice in real time about the voices of veterans is extremely important because there's not a lot of other places out there where you can find that information. So yeah, I really see the impact.
I love it. And today you're seeing it too, right? So, I've been perusing, even as you speak, I've been perusing the internets and the turnout's remarkable. We're seeing folks getting out there. They're taking it seriously. A lot of our candidates are out there doing great things. One of the biggest things we've done, and one of the other things we do here at VoteVets to produce ads, both for the organization, for our issues that we care about, and our candidates we support. We wanted to show you, if you missed some of our best ads, we've got a couple of ads. JJ, you want to bring up one of our ads?
My stepson was not a loser.
My son is not a loser.
My son, Matthew, is not a loser.
Lance Corporal Alexander Scott Arredondo died in Najaf, Iraq.
My son gave his life in Kandahar, Afghanistan,
honorably serving his country.
That's something that Donald Trump will never understand.
That ad always gets me. That ad right there is one of the most the biggest ads we've ever had, because we do test, we do ask, we have focus groups and others. That ad tested one of the biggest of all of the ones we've ever done. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but our producer Jay Toscano does many of our videos, was telling us it's literally one of the top testing ads he's ever produced. And I've done ads with Jay Toscano for over 4 years now. We did ads when I was at Lincoln Project with Sully Sullenberger. We won an ad for that, awards for that. But you can see that's kind of what we do, right, Sarah? We want people to understand the perspective of those of us who serve and our families and our Gold Star families. That's the key. I think that's what makes our voice different, isn't it?
Absolutely. And whenever, every time Trump goes after our fallen, which he does way too often, it's like I hate reaching out to Gold Star families because it's I want to respect them and give them their space. And but so many of them want to speak out and speak about what Trump is saying about their loved one that they've lost. So these ads are incredibly important. They're incredibly powerful. Yeah, we had a version of that ad even 4 years ago. And the fact that we've been running against this man for a decade is just,
yeah.
Talk about someone who never stops campaigning. Yeah.
Right. Well, trying to stay out of jail does that to you. What about you, Mike? I mean, you're a sergeant major. I don't know. As a guy who served like we did, that ad kind of cuts through me. I mean, there's just something about the Gold Star family and those we've lost. Everybody knows.
And honestly, anyone who's served, who's lost someone in a combat zone or has had friends, go down. It's one of those things where you not only deal with the organization, with the unit, but there are those of us who deal directly with the families, especially, a public affairs guy. You're responsible for shooting some of those, the final formation videos and the last call ceremonies. And when you talk to parents, you provide them pictures of those ceremonies, or you you have any interaction with them at all, you just the pain and the grief and the loss, it comes off them in waves, and that's when they're being treated, 100% with kid gloves, with respect and care. When you got somebody like the adversary, I don't even want to say his name on this anymore, but like when you have someone like that takes their name in vain, that says things like suckers and losers, I have to imagine that makes it hurt even more for those families. And so those family members that appeared in that ad, the fact that they were strong enough to do that, God bless them. But I would say that some of the feeling that's coming off of them, anger and disgust, replaces the sadness and grief. It's a just unbelievable insult to them. Some of the things that he said about our service members and our fallen, and that ad just really nails it.
Yeah, it does. And of course it played right into this arc of this campaign at the end there with that Arlington stunt. We did a show about that. I think you joined me, Mike. You trying to use, and I think that's the difference between what Vice President Harris and Governor Walz have done, and the Democrats in general, is they're very careful about honoring the service and recognizing the sacrifice. And then, of course, we talk about they actually did stuff. One of the things we keep hammering, if you see me speak, you saw me speak on the No Not Suckers and Losers tour, the PACT Act. I mean, as somebody said smarter than me, you can judge a party about what their priorities are by where they spend their money. And the Democrats have spent the money, and they put John Tester, who we're hoping will pull it out today in Montana, wrote the PACT Act, the largest expansion of veterans healthcare in 30 years, and over 1 million. They just put out an update. President Biden put out an update the other day. 1.1 million veterans have signed up for VA healthcare and benefits since the passing of that. That was done by the Democrats. And so there's a difference between stunts, and there's a difference between hugging, and then there's the difference of the actual families, the actual veterans, and their health care that they care about. Another ad we did this cycle that I'm really proud of, that I love so much, is I was a huge fan of Masters of the Air. If those of you who watched Masters of the Air on HBO, it was on HBO, or was it Apple? It was Apple this time. That incredible show about the 8th Air Force, the 100th Bomb Group, which was horribly decimated during the war, B-17 bomber group. A couple of key characters were the few that survived the war without being lost or captured. And one of those was a navigator named Crosby. Well, we were very fortunate in VoteVets to get his son, Jeff, to do an ad with us that was very powerful. And I'll tell you what happened after we put this ad out. But first, let's watch the Masters of the Air commercial we did just a month ago.
Hollywood called him a master of the air. To me, he was just my dad. 6 days after Pearl Harbor, Harry Crosby enlisted in the Army Air Corps to stop fascism across that ocean behind me. Dad was lead navigator for the bloody 100th Bomb Group, 8th Air Force. But at war's end, he'd flown 32 combat missions. Of the 140 airmen he deployed with, all but 3 were killed or captured. These are the men Donald Trump calls suckers and losers, the men he fought with and loved. My dad hated war, but he hated racism, anti-Semitism, and fascism even more. And he'd be horrified to see fascism raising its head in America today. Donald Trump's got a playbook to get around the Constitution, Congress, and the courts to destroy our democracy. And the checks and balances we've had, relied on in the past, are gone. He talks about installing MAGA loyalists at the top of our military to go after anyone who disagrees with him. Those he labels vermin and the enemy within. He talks about serial numbers for immigrants and mass detention camps. We've seen the likes of that before. It's everything the greatest generation fought to defeat. Listen to the people who were with him last time and won't be around to stop him again. Trump's defense secretary warns, Trump is a threat to democracy as we know it. Trump's chief of staff says Trump has nothing but contempt for the Constitution and the rule of law. Trump's top general calls him fascist to the core, the most dangerous person to this country. Even J.D. Vance got it right the first time when he called Donald Trump America's Hitler. Think about it. My dad would crawl out of his grave and back into a B-17 if that's what it took to protect our freedom. All we have to do is vote against Trump.
I love that ad. I know. It's like, shit. You know, my father's World War II vet. My dad was a Marine in World War II. So I have so much admiration. I grew up. So my earliest memories are in our basement in St. Louis, Kirkland, Missouri, and my dad's Marine Corps uniforms hanging in the the storage unit because they never talk about it very much, and seeing like, what are these weird badges, and to see Jeff Crosby. Now, what's the next part, Sarah? Tell everybody what happened after that ad for Jeff.
Oh yeah, the Harris campaign reached out to Jeff, and then you saw him speaking at the Ellipse alongside Kamala Harris.
You know, that rally that had 75,000 people on the Ellipse. Jeff Crosby got up there with a VoteVets hat on and spoke to 75,000 of our fellow Americans, and then nationwide, just inspiring everybody because the heroics of his dad. I mean, that number is staggering. 3 men went home. 3 of all the men. I mean, it's the numbers. It's hard to fathom that kind of a turnover and the danger those men faced in combat. So it's just such a privilege to be in a place where we talk about that and we highlight their bravery and service. But we don't stop there. We didn't stop just the thing about VoteVets is we also we support, we donate, we provide ads, and we fight for candidates from across the country. Candidates who are not just veterans, but also support the veteran community, have proven themselves as focused on national security and the issues that we care about. One of those is a guy I got to interview about 7 months ago or 6 months ago, Colin Allred in Texas. Now, Colin, as you guys know, he's taken on Ted Cruz. It's in the margin of error. I mean, Texans could do something really cool and make Ted Cruz a full-time podcaster, which would be amazing. Because actually, I mean, in addition, well, he has a full-time podcast. So let's not screw around here. But actually give him the time to be a full-time podcaster and not even have to pretend he's a senator anymore. JJ, I think we've got the. Do you have the Collins ad up?
Colin Allred is Texas tough. As a former Baylor team captain and NFL linebacker raised in Dallas by a single mom, he knows the meaning of hard work and sacrifice. While Colin Allred is fighting to lower costs for our families, Ted Cruz is telling lies to divide us and keep his grip on power. Colin Allred wasn't born yesterday. Neither were you. So don't fall for Ted Cruz's attacks. Colin Allred is the champion we need in the Senate.
I love that ad too. Colin is such a great guy. You know, Colin is just a decent guy. You know, and he's born and raised in Texas. He freaking played football in Texas, played NFL, but he's very focused on the needs of our service members. Of course, he is thank you, Jane. He served in the Congress already, and now he's running again one of those textbook campaigns we talk about a lot, right, Mike?
Yeah, I'll tell you, the fact that he has closed the numbers inside the margin of error is just amazing in a red state like Texas. I don't remember watching him in the NFL, like because I'm an AFC North guy, so I really wasn't paying attention. But the fact that we could have another pro athlete make a big swing and come to the bigs like that into the Senate would be amazing.
Yeah. And you mix it. We mix it up, don't we, Sarah? I mean, you had a chance to kind of run these. You see. I mean, it's such a large array of candidates we support at every level, aren't we?
Oh, all across the country, especially in some states, and we're seeing a lot of progress too in Iowa 3 against Zach Nunn. We have a great candidate in there against Tim Lanambacom. So we are just. Today could be a really, really special day, and I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. It would be really special if Ted Cruz lost. That would.
Oh God! Let's talk about Iowa 3. So we're in Congress. So Iowa 3. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like for me, the perfect pair is Ted Cruz losing and John Tester winning. If John, again, we send Ted Cruz to be a full-time podcaster, and in the same breath send Tim Sheehy back to his failing business in Montana, that would just be amazing. And then we won't have to hear any more stories about how he either shot himself in the arm or was the victim of a green on blue in Afghanistan, or may have been shot by another SEAL. This story changes every other day. So right. Just those two races right there would just make my entire night. The trifecta, of course, would be Kamala Harris. So all three of those, we we go 3 for 3 on that, and I might not be sober for 2 days. I'm just going to be honest.
It's good to know. That's good. That's good information to know in case I want you to come on the show, which I would not do then.
Or bring me on, and it could be even more entertaining.
That's true. I did that 4 years ago. We had a drinking show on the night for the election for the Lincoln Project, and it went exactly as you thought. We had one of the guys dressed up as Lincoln. It was quite hilarious. I don't know. John's not around. I think maybe John will call us on that one.
Well, listen, as long as JJ stays sober, we should be fine.
JJ's that's a good point. JJ is the only one that needs to be sober. The producer to keep us straight. You know, I can't drink. For those who don't know, we were supposed to have a show Friday, and as I was rushing to get ready, I fell down my steps and conked my head on the wall. So I'm dealing with a brain injury right now. So if I go crazy, so I can't drink as much as I'd like to. It's probably going to keep me from drinking too much because apparently you're not supposed to drink with a brain injury. Doctors. But anyway, we digress. Back to the topic at hand. Iowa 3. So we ran an ad in Iowa 3, and it's an important race. And just again, show the range of where we're supporting candidates. Let's run the Iowa 3 ad, JJ.
Should all abortions be illegal in this country? All abortions, no exceptions.
That's our Congressman Zach Nunn pledging to support a nationwide abortion ban. No exceptions for rape, incest, even to save the woman's life. Just like the ban he voted for in Iowa. I raised my hand once too to support and defend our rights and freedoms. Zach Nunn raised his hand to take our rights away.
VoteVets is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Now, there's a little controversy there on that one because Zach Nunn also has to be Air Force veteran, didn't he? But he is also very, very anti-choice. We're not afraid to take those on, are we, Sarah?
No. I mean, if you're if you're for taking away freedom, then you're kind of against what you served for. So yeah, as much as I respect his service, come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, we cut to the chase here. We're going to tell it like it is and stick to our issues, stick to our rights, our women's rights and Americans' rights. And of course, those of us here never forgot our oath, right? And that's one of the key things. I know you, Mike, you and I kind of showed up here at the same time. I think it's one of the things that draws, our supporters and people like you to VoteVets, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just the dogged determination to preserve democracy, right? This is, for a lot of people, that's just like a hand wave or a talking point. But those of us who swore an oath to protect this nation and follow the Constitution, that's not a promise you make lightly, and it's certainly not one that somehow expires when your term in service ends, whether you retire or you get out or whatever. And so the mission focus that VoteVets has in that regard absolutely pulled me in the door. And there's a little scrappiness too, right? It's you're not afraid to walk up and get in somebody's face. That's the other part that's very attractive to me about this organization. I mean, and Sarah being the voice behind the scenes, like it comes off her in waves, right? It's like,
we're
hey,
scrappy. We're scrappy.
we did drive around the country in a bus. We did kind of drive around the East Coast in a bus that said, "I'm not a sucker, I'll lose at the side of it." And so, so yeah, it is a little scrappy sometimes. A question. There was quite one answer.
Walking the line of people waiting to get into the Trump rally, rocking
that was fun.
The hair shirt, that's always a little fun too. Let's roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah, I think one of our friends asked a question. It's a great question, by the way. I'll go back to it. Hi, Melody. Thank you so much. Somebody asked me before. Melody asked about, what can I do while I'm waiting today? I made a pie. Look, I'm not going to tell you some secret. The worst part of being a campaign professional or being a political hack is this day is so freaking long. So I don't, Sarah, you've done that. I did this 4 years ago before that. I did 2 years ago for a congressional race. If you're on a campaign, you're out knocking doors. You're still get out the vote. We have volunteers. My God, they had the campaign had 90,000 volunteers 2 days ago. I want you to think about that number, by the way. The Harris campaign announced they had 90,000 volunteers on Sunday out knocking doors. It's an incredible number. But having said that, yeah, I think what you said in your poster, man, was helping friends get to the polls, reach out to folks, go to the polls for your favorite candidate. You're allowed to electioneer certain distance away in your town. Maybe bring your signs along from your front yard and talk to people There's still time. There really are people still online, especially for local races. One of the candidates I support here in St. Louis is running for state Senate. He's working the lines right now at the polling places. He flipped 2 votes alone at his first stop because, like, wow, you're out here in the rain. I really respect that. Yeah, because believe it or not, especially for local races, people do go to the poll not really knowing about their local state senate or state district, house district race, and this is a chance for you to influence that. So if you're passionate, you got time, you want to get out, go talk to your fellow Americans. You'd be surprised the conversations I had when I voted on Tuesday. I know we didn't agree politically, that we have very lovely conversations. And look, nobody wants to fight. The average American doesn't want to fight in the voting line. So if you got time, get out there and do that, or you can stress bake like me. It's your call.
I did some lawn maintenance already this morning.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
that was a good way to zone out. And
Sarah, how are you managing?
I was stressed. Sorry.
And then Patrick Murphy called me and wanted to talk about the election, and it threw me right back in the mix again. So I was like,
Patrick's our friend. He never lets it go. Sarah, you're going to say, what did you do for fun today?
Well, I went and voted early this morning, so I have to do it. It's a superstition. I have to do it on election day because the one time I didn't, it was Hillary, and I don't want to talk about that. So I went there with earbuds because I was like, I didn't want to talk to any MAGA people, but it was actually a pretty easy line because we have early voting now, so it wasn't as crazy as it has been other years. But then I came home and stress cleaned. So I was stress cleaning for like 2 hours.
I understand. We're making homemade chicken noodle soup for tonight. We figure it's gonna be a long night. I'll just kind of dip into the soup all night, and we will eat some peanut butter pie. Well, I'll eat some peanut butter pie since the only person in the house that eats peanut butter pie is this guy. So if you're in St. Louis and you know me already, if you actually know me, give me a call. We're going to have extra peanut butter pie. But no, honestly, just a lot and look, you can't stress. As you can see, one of the reasons we did the show today, we don't have news for you guys, is just that. We want you to understand it's going to be a long day. There is hope. North Carolina, they count their votes fast. Wisconsin counts their vote fast because they're allowed to. So there was a great, I wish I could find it. Sorry, JJ, I didn't give it to you, but there's a document from the Harris campaign. It kind of lays out when they expect different votes to come in. We will see some results early. Now, look, if it's a big blowout, we'll get results. It won't be, there'll be a certain, math is math. At some point, the math.
Hey, Fred, speaking of blowout, I just saw a tweet a couple of minutes ago that said University City in Philly, or outside of Philly, has reached 100% of its 2020 total at noon. So I would say, get out the vote on either side is pretty strong. Let's hope that that all those feet that moved to the polls were driving people that were going to punch for blue all the way down the line.
Well, we do know historically large turnout does favor the Democrats. It's just it is what it is, and there's a lot of passion in this election. A lot of people are tired. They've seen the MAGA hate rally they did the other day really motivate a lot of people. I mean, people are saying they've never seen such a record shift in a demographic group as the Puerto Rican and Latino vote shift. I mean, this will go down. That will go down in history as one of the biggest self-owns and self-destructive moves of any political campaign in history on a grand scale. And the worst part is that guy could have fixed it. I mean, now let's be honest. He could have fixed it if he had abrogated it, if he had condemned it, if he'd said that's not how I feel, if he'd actually made some outreach. No, he didn't. And the funniest part of it all is that they decided that President Biden's offhand mistake of saying something about garbage was they tricked that and tried to use garbage. So people who are seeing Trump in a garbage truck think he's doubling down on the Puerto Rican thing. I mean, I saw an interview with a Puerto Rican activist who said, I don't pay attention much, but the idea he's going in a garbage truck just kind of doubled down on it. And like, so not only they screwed up in the first place, they kept going. So, it's there's a statement. So yeah, they did put out a statement. Thank you, JJ. He's so good. There's a private chat for those who don't know. That's where he tells me what I'm doing wrong. The statement from the Harris campaign. Here's what we expect on election night and the days to follow. If the race is as close as polls indicate, we expect it could take some time for the election is called. This is not a sign that anything's gone wrong or that we are not on a trajectory to win. It is simply the result of how states tabulate votes and the time it takes to call a very close election. States count and report ballots in different orders. That's the order. The order of the state results is from the state itself, and we'll be waiting. DOJ has put election watchers out in key districts. Right here in Missouri, our own Secretary of State tried to stop the Department of Justice from observing our election here and failed because federal law overrides it, but he wasted more Missouri money doing that. Early in the night, we expect to have results from Georgia and North Carolina. As I mentioned earlier, North Carolina is allowed to count their absentee ballots starting in October. So North Carolina has already been counting their absentee votes. So they're well ahead of a lot of states. Georgia does similar. If these states are close, however, they may not be called until later. Harris campaign also expects near complete results from states like Virginia, Florida, Ohio, and Colorado tonight. While these results can be informed, we must be careful not to over-index on the results in any one state. States may not move together this year. So as you can see, the Harris camp is being very, very cautious. They do say by the end of the night, we expect near complete results from Georgia and North Carolina and Michigan, and partial results from Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Arizona. By Wednesday morning, we expect most results from Wisconsin, additional results from Pennsylvania, and potentially all of Michigan. On Wednesday and beyond, we expect additional results from Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Nevada, as well as small number of remaining ballots tabulated in states that have the most reported rate. So the key states it could go into Wednesday night, even Thursday. So that's how it is. We'll be careful. We'll be cautious. They go on to say some ballots can be counted for several days. After Election Day, as you guys know, absentee ballots for those of us who are in the service can go on for a while, and hopefully not January. That'd be terrible. But so you can secure ballots after Election Day. Nevada ballots can arrive until November 9th, and Pennsylvania, the state cannot begin to count provisional ballots until November 8th. Even so, the fact that new votes will continue to be reported for many days is expected, not a sign of fraud or anything else, or December. Now, as you guys remember from 2020, that was used as a sign that things were amiss. They're not amiss. That's just how the system is. Anybody who tells you it's not always been this way is lying to you. It has always been this way. It takes time to count these results. The reason they've been called sooner rather than later is because there was a landslide, and the math said that the opponent was not going to catch up. So I don't expect on this planet or any other that Donald J. Trump will ever concede. so we will count votes, and we may count votes for a while until he decides or his followers decide he lost. We have another ad I want to get to, though, before we get too far down the road. This ad, of course, is Ruben Gallego, our dear friend Ruben Gallego, a Marine Corps combat veteran, actually seeing some really hardcore combat. Let's run that ad.
Hey,
buddy.
Hey, dude.
What's up, brother? Long time, man.
It's been 20 years since I've seen you guys.
I came down here to support our brother.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of these attack ads against Ruben, and they're so far off base.
It sounds like Carrie Lake will just say anything, attacking anyone just to try and get ahead for herself.
Ruben's service is a reflection of his character.
Oh, yeah. You go after one of my Marines, you're going to have to take on all of us.
VoteVets is responsible for the content of this advertising.
See, another ad that gets me. I'm the son of a Marine.
Seriously, like,
I know
that last part. It's like you go after them, you got to go after me. That's like that brotherhood is you can't replicate that anywhere else. And having met him out in Arizona when we did the Veterans Vote Blue bus tour, like Ruben Gallego is without a doubt a stand-up guy and absolutely will be the next senator for the state of Arizona. It is just going to be so good to see that, and hopefully relegate Carrie Lake to the dustbin of Arizona history, because she just needs to go. All of the, basically the whole MAGA crew, they one by one, they just need to fall, and go the hell away.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take us a while to clean up this mess, I think. But that was the key. It was funny. Somebody tried to do a stolen valor thing on Ruben, and they ended up blowing up their face because he actually undermines his own service. He doesn't tell, like, he undercounts his medals. My favorite Ruben story is when I was a veterans advocate in DC, and he was the first term Congress member. And if the others don't understand, Ruben was an E4, and then he was the junior enlisted, if you will, in the Marine Corps. He's a Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps, which is a fairly junior rank. He did one bump, but he did a lot in that bump. But now he's a congressman, And so when a congressman goes like 8th and I, the Marine Corps barracks in Washington, which is where the commandant lives, a congressman is treated like a big deal, right? So Ruben, for those early years, was like, I was a freaking Lance Corporal. And here's the commandant of the Marine Corps calling me sir, and we joked online. We had a whole group that was joking on Twitter quite a bit about, going. And I was Lieutenant Colonel, and I used to kind of get a giggle out of going to the Pentagon and having, I had the joke where guys I served with my same rank when I retired are now generals, and they'd have to be nice to me. It was kind of hilarious. But Ruben and I had a running joke. I was going to be his date to go to 8th and I for the Friday night or the 8th and I drill or whatever, the parade, and he never took me. And then he got married. So I guess I met his wife in Chicago at the DNC. I said, I was supposed to be his date. And so I'm still going to make Ruben take me when he's a senator to the 8th and I, so we can, the E4 and the Lieutenant Colonel can have some fun with the Marine Corps Commandant. But he's as real as they get. I mean, did you guys see, Sarah, did you see where Ruben hiked into an Indian reservation, a Native American reservation that was only accessible by walking, I believe, right? Oh, you're muted.
My bad. No, yes, I believe so. He walked in that,
yeah, it was fascinating. He visited, he pledged he would visit every single one of the Native American tribes in Arizona while he was running for Senate, and he accomplished it, including having to walk through the Grand Canyon to get there. I mean, this is a guy who says his word and then sticks to his word and gets done. So we're really optimistic that Arizona's gonna do the right thing. I mean, polls say it's winning, but it's America in 2024, so who knows? But we've been very, very proud to support Ruben and a number of veterans just like him. We were very fortunate to have, an incredible array of United States military veterans, who are out there running, out there representing the Democratic Party now, out there proudly being Democrats, standing by the values that we all served under, and proving us right, aren't they? Oh, sorry. I'm looking at this. I look at the comment. Thank you. There's somebody asked a question about how many. I'm actually not. Sarah, do you know how many veterans we have on staff? We're not a giant team. VoteVets isn't.
We're not a giant team. It's pretty extensive. I'm Blue Star family myself. My brother served. He's a Marine. My grandfathers both served in World War II. My one was a Marine in the Pacific Theater, and then my other grandfather was in the Navy as a flight mechanic. And then my father-in-law served as a MP in the Vietnam era, so in the Army.
And so we get a lot, obviously.
Yeah. So while not all of us have served, I have not served, and I'll openly admit that. I was definitely impacted a lot by the war in Iraq when my brother served and nearly lost his life. And you make that choice in your life of who you're going to advocate for, and this was it.
Yeah, I think over half. I think we also get a lot of people think that we're based in Oregon. We're actually all across the country.
No, we're everywhere. Yeah.
Sarah, where are you? You're in.
I'm in Connecticut. Yeah.
Connecticut, and Mike, you're in the DC area, aren't you?
Yep. Manassas, Virginia.
Yeah, so we are everywhere. We're everywhere.
See, the one thing that I feel like we have to push back when people ask about like how many people are veterans at VoteVets is that like anytime you hear someone have a discussion about veterans, it's veterans and military families. It's there's always the family part, veterans, particularly those who are receiving disability compensation from the VA. A lot of that is aimed at caretakers and care providers, right? So if your spouse might not have served, but she's taking care of your butt because you're at a certain percentage. I mean, we have to talk about our family members and have them be included in that group. So Sarah's been, in the environment long enough, and she knows twice as many bad words as the rest of us. So I consider her a de facto veteran as it is.
No, I would never say that, but I have been around a lot of veterans, and I know my fair share of bad words.
I love it. And I updating that last part of that question that was asked. We have over 2 million. We you saw at the beginning. If you at the beginning, we threw some slides up. I'll throw them up again at the end. Mary, we'll throw up the backside JJ to show the folks who are just joining us now. We're up to almost 5,000. Some of the numbers that VoteVets represents and the impact we had this year. We can repeat that. It's okay. We're live. We do whatever the hell we want.
That's right.
So with that said, so guys, we talked for a while. I don't want to drag us out. We've got a couple things to cover before we go. Mike, any last thoughts on Election Day? We're halfway through the day or so. Polls are open, I think, almost every. Oh, by the way, hi, Heather Lee Wimberly. I saw your comment. Thank you. It's good to see friends from Hawaii. Mike, what do you got to say? Last thoughts before we let you go, brother.
Last thought is, while it is probably a little unhealthy to stay on social media and look at numbers all day because numbers can make you nervous, they also can make you happy. I see one right here for Clark County, Nevada. Clark County's turnout as of 11:10 a.m. was over 56,000 voters total. That's all both Republican, Democrat, and other. That is more than 2 times the total turnout for the 2020 election. Wow. So people are out there.
Yeah. People
are doing their civic duty today. And it's just going to come down to who's voting down which column. So go to the numbers that make you happy. Stay away from the ones that make you a little crazy, and enjoy the ride tonight.
Sarah?
I mean, I'll be on that ride with you as you're on all of the news. When you're watching the news or you're on social media, I'll be there right with you. So it's going to be stressful, but we need to stay positive and just get out the vote. Tell everyone you know, and make sure they voted, and try to stay as positive as you can. Just keep that vibe.
We got this going. Guys, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you. I hopefully we'll see you later tonight or not. Keep up the good work, and let's get this thing. So, final thoughts. We got to win this thing. And as the Harris-Walz team has said very much clearly, we got to run through the tape. There's no taking anything for granted. There's no assuming anything at this point. Okay. You've got to get your friends and family and neighbors to vote. You've got to make sure you wear your colors and get out there, have honest conversations. I went to Starbucks this morning with my Harris-Walz hat. A young man, couldn't have been more than 19 years old, came out of Starbucks in a camo Harris-Walz hat. We fist bumped, baby. And I live in far western St. Louis County. So we are really in a wonderful place right now of positive momentum. The fundamentals are very good for the Harris and Walz campaign, and all the way down the Democratic ticket. There's none of us are going to predict. We're not pundits here. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win steadily. I think it might not be close, but that's just Fred's opinion, right? I've got a lot of friends running right now. My friend Eugene Vindman in Virginia 7, Whitney Fox down there taking out Anna Pauline. I could go through my whole list of friends and family I know who are running for office, and just so very proud of them. But you are the key, folks. You're watching this because you care. You've got time. Get out there right now. If you still have to knock doors, find your local campaign. Go down to the polling place. But more important than anything, just get out there. Make sure people are voting and doing their civic duty. We can wrap this thing up. No need to be stressed. We're not going to stress you. I joke about that peanut butter pie. It will get wrecked, but I'm not going to just do that today. We can do this. I tell you, everything came together in the last 4 months in a beautiful way. President Biden did a very courageous thing when he did it. A lot of us didn't think it could happen. We didn't think it could pull it off, but incredible work from the Harris-Walz campaign, incredible work from Jamie Harrison, the DNC, incredible work from groups like ours and others who threw down the gauntlet and got to work. So I'm very, very, very proud of the work that this organization has done, our sister organizations have done, our partners, the candidates that we support and help, including over 400 at the state level and below. We're not just doing national races here at VoteVets. We also support hundreds of candidates at the local state level. Those are so important. So do your homework, figure out who you should vote for. If you haven't voted yet, I'm going to kick your butt. You got to get out there and vote, okay? Because that's all that matters. It's not just one vote. It matters. So with that, I want to bring us on out with a great Get Out the Vote video from the Harris campaign. Thank you for joining us. We're going to go back tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern time. 11 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be back to talk about where we're at as the election results roll in. Hopefully we'll have some good news. Who knows? Either way, we'll have some good vibes no matter what. We appreciate all of you for being part of our family. Go to votevets.org. Votevets.org. You can click on 2 really important buttons. One says donate. We love that one because that's what pays for all this. 2, take action. Be a part of our organization. Again, we have over 2 million supporters who work in Veterans Affairs, who are military family members, who are veterans. 2 million, we for sure have counted. And we would love you to be part of those 2 million by joining us. You don't have to have an association with the military. You just want to be supportive of what we do and the people we support. It's all you got to do. Okay, it's votevets.org. We appreciate your support. IWillVote.com. IWillVote.com. That's an important website to tell your friends. It'll tell you exactly where you need to go. Tells you exactly what polling place is. It tells you exactly what requirements for ID or whatever your state may have. IWillVote.com gives you all the information you need. If you're lucky, you got a place like me here in St. Louis County, Missouri, where they actually have the polling places listed on the website and see how many people are in line. You can't beat that if your state has that. Check it out. But all I can say right now, folks, is we got the vibe. We got the momentum. Listen to good music. Relax. It's going to be a long couple of days, but we'll be here and you'll be here. Let's fight this thing to the end. With that, thank you for joining us. I'm Fred Wellman, host of Online with VoteVets. This has been a great afternoon chat. We'll see you tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern, the same bat place.
May the last one burn into flames. Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose.